guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, I'm making another shaker card, and yes, I'm using flip flaps. I'm finding out I think I really like using the flip flaps more than any other way I've made shaker cards before. And I did show this in my last live, which was Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. And I had said in that video that I would do a written tutorial. Well, I got to thinking I better do a video tutorial because some of this stuff, it's easier to explain while you're watching it being done. But I will still have a printout sheet with all the sizes, so you don't have to write everything down while you're watching the video. What you can do is go down the video description, click on that blog post link, and then you'll find the link to the sheet right there. You just click on it. You can either save it to your computer or you can print it off. The supply list is also there too. So if you want to make this along with me, then go get that sheet, get all your supplies together, get all your cardstock cut out, and then you can come and make this card with me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to tell you what dies and stamps you need from the Beautiful Butterflies bundle. Now, before February 28th, the best deal to get this bundle, you want to place a $60 order before shipping and tax, and you can pick this as your free item, the stamp set with Sale-A-Bration. After February 28th, and then later on, buy the hybrid embossing folder. And a hybrid embossing folder includes the dies and, don't need that, and the embossing folder. And there is another sheet. My magnets are kind of sticking together. There are all the dies right there. So right now, the hybrid folder is not available, but I looked right before I started doing this video, and they're still expecting to get it next week, which is the week of February 24th. I will keep you updated. I will put posts on my Facebook page, and also I will let my email people know, the people that are subscribed to my newsletter. And if you're not, just look down the video description, and there is a link to sign up to get my newsletter. And I will let you guys know as soon as this is available again. But after February 28th, then the bundle will be the best deal again. So with the stamp set, the stamps you need the big butterfly, and you need happy birthday. That's all I'm going to use with that. You do need the folder, so get the folder out. And I need the long label die. And, these are kind of overlapping. And this one right here. I need this butterfly body and one of the small ones. And then I need one of these. And those are all the stamps and dies that you need. Okay, normally I would get all the stamping done, but we can only stamp one thing right now before we die cut. This is a piece of basic white that's 4x1. And I'm going to take the Fresh Freesia ink pad and take the Happy Birthday sentiment. And I'm going to stamp this closer to the right here. And you'll understand why I did that here in a minute. But that is ready. Oh, that's kind of light. I don't think I inked that up very good. Let's get some more. Might need to re-ink my ink pad too. I've been using it a lot. I think that inked up a lot better. Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah, that was too light. That looks good. Glad there are two sides to paper. Okay, that is all the stamping we can do right now. So let's get the die cutting machine out. Okay, first off, I'm going to use the hybrid folder and show you how you can die cut and emboss at the same time. So with our Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, you just want the thick base platform. Now I'm going to bring in the folder, and the side that has the logo, that's the side we're going to be working with right now. So I'm going to open this up, and there's this big butterfly right here. Well, I'm going to take the big butterfly die, and with the blade facing up, I'm going to put this down, and you can feel it lock into place. I'm kind of scooting this around, and it's not moving. It's locked into place, so I know I've got it in the right spot. This is a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to put it over this, but to make sure I've got it in the right place, I'm going to turn it over. I'm holding this because that die will fall out. It's not locked into place up and down, but sideways it's locked in. So what I'm going to do, this butterfly is kind of at an angle, but I wanted it to be straight. Now you can definitely do it at an angle if you want to. I'm going to move my cardstock carefully. I'm still putting pressure on it to make sure that die doesn't fall. The cardstock's holding it in place pretty good though. So that looks pretty good. It's centered and it looks straight. So now I'm going to close this up, and with the fold going in first, this is what you want to go in first. It helps make it so your folder doesn't fall apart, because I've had it break before I knew you had to do that fold first. So make sure you do that first. Then you put the gray specialty plate on top, run it through, and then we are going to have an embossed butterfly with a window. Well, here, let me just show you. Oh, it is open. It's a thick folder, and I thought I had to try to get there. So this is going to be for the window for the shaker part. So I'm going to put this to the side. And then I've got this really pretty embossed butterfly. Now, I like this a lot, and I didn't want to throw this. Oh, I could have used it on another project. I definitely wouldn't have thrown it away. But I'm going to use it on the inside of my card, so hold on to that. So we're going to use all of that. So now I am all done. I love the hybrid folders, and it doesn't hurt. There is a little cut around this. I use this for just embossing too, and it works great. And I have not had a hybrid folder break on me yet, so it does not hurt. Like I said, it does make a little cut here because you are cutting through the cardstock, but these are thick enough that it doesn't cut all the way through, so it's not going to cut that butterfly out. The blade's not thick enough for that, so that's good. Now I'm going to get this ready for die cutting. So I don't need the specialty plate anymore. I do need the die plate. So this is number 2. And then I'm going to grab a standard cutting plate right here. I'm going to grab a piece of basic gray. This is a 3.5 by 1 inch piece. And I'm going to put both of the butterfly bodies there. So there's the large one. And, oop, my little one's hiding here. Hold on. There we go. I'm going to grab a piece of the Beautiful Bokeh DSP. Here it is. It is a 1.5 by 1 inch piece. So I'm going to lay that right here. And this little butterfly is going to go on here. And last but not least, I'm bringing in that happy birthday. And I want the happy birthday to be on the right end of this. Now, you've seen me, if you've watched my card class at home, I shortened this. I'm not going to be shortening it this time, but I still want that happy birthday over closer to the right, not all the way over. And I'm looking here. Well, if my finger would quit hitting it. To keep it in the screen, got something in the way that makes me keep hitting it. So I've got this straight. Looking at the bottom of the happy birthday to make sure it looks straight. Now I'm going to take some tape. This is Post-it tape to hold this on. I'm not going to worry about using tape on these. As long as I watch them and make sure they stay on the paper, that's fine. This I don't want to move at all. Really, that butterfly is pretty close, but it should be fine. The way I can make it so it doesn't move, I'm going to put this end down first and slowly bring this down. Everything looks like it's still on the cardstock. I know that hasn't moved because it's taped. And I'm just going to hold this down until all the dies get underneath this center part. Now I know they're not going to move. And this is going to be all the die cutting we need to do. If you're making this along with me, I'm going to take the tape off. You can also use Post-it notes if you don't have Post-it tape. That works too. It holds the die in place, but it does not tear up the cardstock. That's why I love it. Okay, now we've got our bodies here. And it looks like it might have, oh, that one fell out when I kind of dropped it down. So there's one butterfly body. And let's see if that one will, nope, that one I'm going to have to get my Take Your Pick tool out. That's what they put these little holes in the dies for. You just kind of push that down, and that makes the die cut come out. So there's the little body. And I think I'm going to have to do that. Oh, nope, it fell out. And all the little pieces came out. I love our dies. They die cut so well. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I've got a couple little pieces. I want to poke those out because when you put this away, you don't want to have any paper in there. That way you don't accidentally try to die cut with paper in it because it won't die cut as well in those areas where the paper's at. Okay, all done with the die cutting machine, so let's put this away and we'll finish the card. Okay, now if you remember, the card had the butterfly in the window, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. This is a 5 by 3/4 inch piece. Then I'm going to grab that balmy blue piece that we use the hybrid embossing folder on. And I'm going to put this right on there. I want to make sure I don't see any white around the outside, and I don't. I'm going to go ahead and grab my big stamp here using my Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And whenever I use my Tuxedo Black, it's a different kind of pad than what our classic pads are. You don't have to do this with our classic ink pads. This one's a harder pad, and I think it inks up a lot better if you twist first all over and then kind of pounce a little bit. I used to just pounce, and I never got a really good impression with it. So that I've kind of played around, and that's what's worked best for me. I'm going to put this over the side for just a second. Looks like I missed a spot. You're probably thinking the same thing. Looks like this spot's not inking up very good. Oh, that looks a lot better. Okay. Now, that's a nice thing about turning it over. You can see how you inked it up. Now I'm going to make sure I'm not seeing anything. And actually, too, I can look at this. Just get that centered. It doesn't have to be centered, but that probably does help it. You definitely know, because I made it big enough, it's going to cover up that butterfly. Got that over. This is going to fit right inside. So I am slowly going down. I'm hovering over it now. I'm real close to it, but not quite there. Now I can get this. I'm putting pressure all over without moving it. Then lift straight up. Grab that blue paper. There we go. So it is the right size to go inside there, because the die actually is a little bit bigger than the butterfly. That way I didn't get any black on there. And now I've got that in the exact spot I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in. So this is, I'm going to be using Fresh Freesia and Balmy Blue. So I'm going to start with my dark Balmy Blue. And the areas that I want to be blue, and you'll see it as I'm coloring, I'm going to just put a little bit of dark Balmy Blue here in this inner part of it, just to get a little shading. So most of the middle part is going to be colored in with the Balmy Blue, and the outside's going to be the Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to go ahead and color in all the sections I want to be. So pretty much right across here and here is going to be Balmy Blue. So I'm going to just do all the dark for right now. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to actually change this up just a little bit from my original. This little circle, or not really circle, almost like a teardrop, I decided I'm going to make those purple instead of doing the Balmy Blue. And there are two little circles down here. I'm going to make those Fresh Freesia too, which I did do that on mine. My original, I meant to do these Fresh Freesia and I didn't. So if it looks a little different from the picture, that's why. Now I'm going to use my light Balmy Blue. And all of the sections where I did the dark Balmy Blue, I'm going to color them. And I'm going over the dark just a little bit, especially where the two shades meet. And to blend those two shades in, so it's a gradual effect as it goes from dark to light. And I'm going to do that in all of the sections with the dark Balmy Blue. Okay, now here I think I need to blend these a little bit again, so I'm just doing it where those two shades meet. And then there were a couple places I actually forgot to do my dark. Like I want a little bit of dark right here. I missed a bunch of sections over here. One here and one couple of these here. So I can go back, even though that kind of lightened up a little too much for me. You can go back and just keep adding layers until you get it the way you want it. Now I'm going to go back over the light a little bit again so I can blend those together. I love playing with these. I love being able to, I feel like an artist because I'm blending all my shades together. And I'm using a very light touch. I like using the brush tip. You can use the blunt tip. I know a lot of people like to use that instead. But I like to use this. I use a light touch so I don't fray the end. And it blends really good. Oops, I missed a couple spots down here. This is the light. So let me hurry up and get that done. There's so many little sections to the butterfly. I went right over that. Okay, that looks good. I knew something didn't look right, and that was it. Now, with these here, there aren't too many things. I've got both of these out, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with my light fresh freesia, because there's not a lot of place where you can do a lot of shading. Those blue areas were a lot bigger, so you can tell the difference, but I don't think we're going to see much with this. Yeah, I like light fresh freesia, because I think I used both shades on the original, and it's really, you can't tell that I did any shading. So let's just go ahead and color all these little sections in. If I want to have a little bit of different color, you can make it a completely balmy blue butterfly if you want to. But I kind of liked having a little bit of different colors on here. So get this all done. Actually, I think on my original, I made these little sections purple. That's okay. They're handmade. They don't have to look exactly the same. So if you want to have a little more purple, you can even put these two center skinny ones as purple, and that looks good too. But this, I like the way this looks. Okay, I'm all done with the coloring. So I'm going to bring in, let's see, I think, we want to work on the shaker card. Let's work on that first. So I'm going to get my trimmer out, and I am using a 4x4 flip flap. Now, the 4x4 is the actual inside of the pouch, this 4x4. These are originally made for scrapbooking. I can't wait to use these for scrapbooking, because if you don't have enough room for all your pictures and you want it to be on the same page, you can stack these, and they attach here, and you can attach another one on top, and you can flip through all of the different pictures. I love that idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut off 4¼ inches off the top. I'm not even going to use this. If you watch my very first, I'll have a link down below in the video description. It was a birthday card. The very first time I made a shaker card with flip flaps, I kept this, actually used this, and I put DSP, which is designer series paper, by the way. I put that inside the pouch, and I could fold this down, and the DSP would hide all of this. Well, this time, I want the butterfly to show that we stamped, so I want this to be clear. And when I got to making it, I thought, oh, wait a minute, we're going to see that adhesive. That's not going to look right. So we're going to do a little bit of cutting, but it's really easy to do. Don't worry. Make sure that this is on the right side, so that's the opening and where the adhesive's at. Line this bottom, the very bottom outside edge. Don't go by the seam. Go by the outside edge. And line this up at 4 1/4. So making sure I get this. There we go. And then I'm going to cut this off. Perfect. Yeah, this little thing was a little piece at the pouch, because now the pouch is even up here. Now I need to do some scoring, but I have found out this scoring one here doesn't work very good with the flip flap. Now if I put DSP in here, this works just fine because it folds the DSP and I can see the line and I can make this fold really easy. But I kept playing around with it and it just kept leaving. So it's better to use our Simply Scored scoring tool. So I'm going to get it out. And with the opening on the right again, I'm going to put this all the way up here in the corner. And there are 2 tips. I'm going to use the real thin one because that gives a sharper score line for me. And I want to do it at 3 7/8. So there's the 4. So I just go down to the next little notch right next to it. And then make sure you hold down the flip flap. I'm holding really, putting a lot of pressure on it with my left hand because it is slippery and I don't want it to move. But see that nice score line? I could not get that with the score blade in the trimmer. So now it's going to fold like this. I'm going to go ahead and get it ready for folding. This is called burnishing, just getting it ready. I do this when I make boxes. That just helps it when you start to put it together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up. This is one of my thank you gifts I'm giving away with a qualifying order. If you place, if you go down in the video description, I made cards with I had a Beautiful Butterflies card class at home. I talked about that at the beginning of the video. In that video, I'll show you all the thank you gifts you can get. So the first one you get with a $50 order before shipping and tax using my host code, and I'll put that down the bottom. You'll see that in my watermark below. Then you will get the card kits to make 2 each of those cards. If you bump it up to a $125 order, I will also give you a full pack of the Itty Bitty Bokeh Mix, which is what I'm using right now. And I'm also going to be using the iridescent stripe trim on this. You can get this free if you bump it up to a $200 before shipping and tax. So if you do a $200 order, you'll get all 3 of those thank you gifts from me. If your order is $150 or more before shipping and tax, do not use the host code. Take it off. You'll still get the thank you gifts that you qualify to get from me, and you'll also get Stampin' Words from Stampin' Up. But if your order is under $150 before shipping and tax, you have to use that host code. That helps defer my costs when I give you all this free stuff. So if you need more information on that, there is a thank you gifts link down below in the video description, because sometimes it's easier to read it and totally understand what I'm talking about. But this offer ends February 24th of 2025. So after February 24th, I'll have new thank you gifts up. Okay, so I'm going to take the Itty Bitty Bokeh Mix. Oops, I'm making a little mess. It always likes to stick on the lid. Let's see if I can get these little, because I don't want to give away any of those. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a few pinches. Usually 3 works pretty good. This is going to be like the 5th or 6th card I have made using the same Bokeh Mix. And I still have quite a bit in here. So this stuff is going to last you quite a while. So there's about 3 of them there. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm kind of shaking around. Oh yeah, that looks like a good amount. I could definitely add more if I wanted to. You don't want to do too much because then it doesn't have a lot of room to move around. Okay, now that is in, I'm going to turn this over. Up here at the very top above the score line, I'm going to put some tear-in tape. So let's see if I can get a hold of this. I go right here along the edge, so I'm right above the score line, but I'm still on the, I don't want any to go over the edge of the flip flap. I guess it doesn't matter if a little bit does, because this is going to be the back of it. Okay, I'm going to push that down, make sure it's on there really good. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Go lightly, go back and forth on the paper edge, and that will make it to where it starts to jiggle off, and you're not going to bring up the adhesive also. Then I'm just going to bring this down. Okay. And that really will hold it pretty good. It is kind of open a little bit, so I think what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put a little bit more here. I barely, well, probably about in the center, that the opening of the flip flap, have it be pretty much in the center of the tape here. We don't want to go down too much, because then we'll see it through the opening. And the nice thing with this, I can lift it up a little bit since this is slippery. The flip flap is a little slippery. There we go. That looks good. That should hold that down. I'm going to grab my scissors. Oh, actually, I don't need scissors. What am I thinking? It's tear-in tape. There we go. Got a little sidetracked on what I wanted to say and started doing the wrong thing. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to grab this. You see, that is going to go in there. Isn't that cool? I love it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. And I am going to just put a little bit of adhesive on the top and bottom. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my tear-in tape again, because I do want it to be really strong adhesive. And I'm going to put some right across here near the very tip top of the wing, and just go right across. It's okay if you go past it a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make sure I'm still right below. Let's go up to, yeah, that looks good. I still want to be close to that, the bottom of that wing. Okay. And I learned this the hard way. The first time I made this, I didn't put any adhesive there. It really needs some. So put a little bit right there. That'll keep it so it doesn't keep flipping up on this. And I'm not going to worry about putting anything here, because when I lay this down, you can see that the 4x4 just fits, and there's not a lot of room. Actually, we could put a little bit right here. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to put a little bit down here. Not any up here on this farther end. Make sure it's within the wingspan. There we go. That'll hold that section, because these kind of go in like this does too. So that's how much tear-in tape you want to use. I didn't do these two on mine, and I wish I had. I just thought of that as I was making this. Okay, so now I will take all the tape off just like I did before. And if you ever start to take it off and the adhesive starts coming up with it, just stop, push it all back down again. And then I start from the other end, and it usually comes off just fine. But I only have to do that every once in a while. As you can tell, it's coming off pretty easy for me. Here's this one. Okay. Now, I could have used Seal Plus, but I'm finding when it's embossed cardstock, sometimes it starts tearing up the cardstock. So that's why I'm going to use my tear and tape. Now, I'm going to put this down. Really, it doesn't matter. Let's see here. I could. That's right. I did not need to put that one up there, just the one on the bottom, because we've got one here. I'm going to take this off. It's been a little while since I made this. I had to remember how I did it. And this top edge is really going to be all the way up at the top, because I do not want to see any of this adhesive in this opening part. So you put this up here, and I've given you the right dimensions, and I'm looking at the wider part of the wing, making sure it's within the seam in the flip flap. Okay. And I do not see any of the flip flap here at the top, so I know I've got it in the right spot. Now I'll push it down really good. Down here and there. And oh yeah, that works so much better. This kept coming up on me, and now it's staying down good. So we've actually already made the shaker part. Isn't that cool? Now, another thing I learned when I made my first one, you can learn from my mistakes. I originally put this down and just used regular adhesive, and you can definitely still do that, but it kind of constricts the flip flap a little bit, and it doesn't shake. It still shakes really good, but not quite as well. So you can still do it with just the seal. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my dimensionals, and I'm not going to put any where the flip flap is, because the flip flap does raise it a little bit, so we don't need it raised up anymore. So I'm just going to put one here, one down here. Actually, I should put the flat sides on the side, because I can tell my points are getting real close to the edge. Well, do it again. There we go. Down here in the corner. Then I'm going to put a couple right here. Okay. Now, this part is still flat. That fold is what makes it kind of pop up a little bit. So I'm going to put, because I don't want this to cave in down here. Put one right here. Up here, I don't have to worry about it because it is folded, so that kind of raises it up. Okay, so make sure all those are pushed down good. I'm going to take these off. I started doing like the tape. You just scoop these up. Sometimes I'm thinking about the next step and forget what I'm doing. Okay, I don't think I got that one off. Nope, that one's not wanting to come off. There we go. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this down really easy. Like so. Getting that. I'm looking at the antennas too. Now, see if that looks good. And it does. I'm going to hold this down. So the dimensionals are kind of sticking out a little bit. That is okay, because it's going to be going on the card base. So I'm going to grab the card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5. And it's fresh freesia. And these are colors that are in that beautiful bokeh paper. We've got a lot of different, not a lot of different colors, but some other colors too. But I picked out 2 of them for my card. Okay, so it's going to be a tent fold. So the fold is on top. Since this is already popped up, I don't need to pop this up. So I'm going to take my seal, which it looks like I'm almost out. Let's see if I can get through the video without it going out on me completely. I've got another one just in case. I think I'll even put a little bit right there in the middle. Make sure the fold's on top. And then we're going to put this down like so. There we go. Oh, that is much better. I might have to retake my pictures because that is nice and flat. Let me bring in my original here. It's just kind of getting folded. These are all down. This is kind of bumped up a little bit. Doing the dimensionals helped out a lot. And with this being attached up here, see how this is kind of popping up on me? I don't like that. So that is much better. So I taught you some tips I didn't think of when I was making this. Okay, now I'm going to put that little butterfly together. So I'm going to grab my silicone mat. I'm going to grab that little fresh freesia and the little body. Now the little body is, let's turn this over because that's the back end. There we go. That is longer than the butterfly wings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some multi-purpose glue just right here in the center. Not much. And then I'm going to put this on like so. Get it straight. And then when it looks good to me, I'm going to push it down, put some pressure on it. There we go. So now my little butterfly is ready. I'm going to grab the happy birthday. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here in the back again. Okay, just here in the center. And I'm going to put my butterfly right here on the end. So that's why I wanted the happy birthday over on the right. Kind of play around with it. I kind of like to angled, making sure I'm not covering up my happy birthday. There we go. That looks good. So now I'm going to put the pressure on it. Okay, so that is ready. Now I had originally put this on with dimensionals. But since I've got this popped up, I think I'm just going to put it on with seal. So definitely make sure you've got seal or glue dots. Glue dots will work too on the ends here because that's what's going to be attaching to the cardstock. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit right here. It should still adhere to the flip flap, but definitely make sure you've got adhesive on the ends. And I'm going to put this down. And I kind of like the birthday. Well, no, let's just center the whole thing. I was first going to center the happy birthday, but that looks a little funny. We're going to center the whole thing. So just mainly look at the label. And that looks good. Okay, that is ready. Isn't that shaker card cool? Now, I thought it needed a little more. So I'm going to use, this is my third thank you gift I told you about a minute ago, the iridescent striped trim, 9-inch piece. I'm right-handed, so when I do my bow, I start on the left end, because all my wrapping is going to be done here on the right side, so I needed more ribbon on the right. And then I'm going to play around with it. It's not going to be a very big bow. That's why I only used a 9-inch piece, plus 9 inches is more than I need. I'm going to bring it down smaller than what I want it, and then I go tightening it up. That always makes it a little bigger. Sometimes I have to tighten it, make it a little smaller again. That looks pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do now, maybe bring it down just a little bit again. Grab my glue dots. I'm going to put the back of the bow knot on a glue dot, push it down really good so that glue dot goes into that material. And then I'm going to put this right here on the end, on this end, down here at the bottom of my label. Okay, now I'm going to bring some scissors in. And I'm just going to have some short tails. It's okay if it goes off the edge just a little bit because it's still going to go in your envelope. You just don't want to do it too much. Okay, now, let's go ahead and, let's finish the outside first. Here's another way you can use this bokeh mix. I like that, but I thought we needed a little bling on the outside too. This is optional. So what I'm going to do, they're all different type pieces. I'm going to grab one of the pieces. Ooh, it looks like these are stuck together. Of course, I pick up one that's stuck together. This looks like a complete ball. There we go. I got them undone. They're a little flat on one side. So that's what I'm going to grab. I'm going to take, you could do a glue dot, but it's a little bit small for a glue dot. So I'm going to put a little dot, just a little dot of the glue right there. I'm going to lay this down on top of the glue when I've got it where I want it. Then I'm going to put pressure on it. So yeah, you need to put pressure on these two for that glue to work. There we go. And then I've got a few places I'm going to put a little dot right here. And this time I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to grab one of the ones that look kind of like they're kind of balmy blue color. They're iridescent looking, so it really doesn't matter. It's one of the flat ones, like a disc. I'm going to put one there. And then I'm going to put another one down here. Another glue dot. Just grab one of these flat pieces. It really doesn't matter which flat piece you get. You just want one of the flat ones. Looks like I picked up a couple. There we go. And my putty's drying up on me. Oh, I know what's going on. I got a little glue on my finger. It's not wanting to come off my finger. So I'm going to put this down on this glue dot, hold it down with pressure again. And then there's some sequins in here that have little holes in them. They're clear. That's what I want for this one. Looks like I picked up 2 again. So I'm just going to put them right here on my glass mat. Oh, that's another one. That's one of those flat ones. Let's see if I can grab another. It really doesn't matter. If you don't care which one you pick up, then just pick one up. But these were just the ones I happened to pick out. So I think all these would work fine. Okay, so I'm going to put another little dot of glue right here. Grab one of these. Oh yeah, much better. It just didn't want to come off my finger with the glue on it. Hold that down with some pressure. And then another little glue dot here. I should say dot of glue. It's not really a glue dot. Put that down. Hold pressure down. There we go. So that's another way you can use this. These do not have to just be used as for shaker cards. Get this closed up. And now the outside is all done. It's got a little bling on the outside too and inside. But I want to do the inside of the card, and that is when we're going to use this guy. Now, we have that big butterfly body. So I'm turning it over. That definitely looks like the better side. So I'm going to turn it over to the back. Put a little bit of glue here. I think I might even put one on the very tip top of the antenna because it's got a little bitty circle on it. A little wider here at the top, but you don't need much glue. And then bring in my butterfly. And it goes right on that embossed section. And if having that little bit of glue on the top of the antennas makes it so that those attach and don't flip in the wind and get torn off easily. There we go. I just wanted to make sure they didn't get torn up. Now, I'm going to grab the inside, and it's going to go like so. You can do the whole thing, but it covers up so much of it, and I want to have room to write something. So I can definitely use seal. I'm going to go ahead and just use my glue since I've got it out. If there are places where let me put some on the antenna. If I put glue in places where I'm cutting off, that's no big deal. I'm not going all the way to the edges because actually the big ones I think do go on all the way. So you can do the top of those. Down here, you don't need to worry about it too much. Bring this in. I'm kind of lining up the bottom of the body, but still showing some white here in the corner. And then pushing this down. It's nice having our silicone craft sheet underneath. So if there is glue showing, it's going to go on here, not on your workspace. Okay, now I'm going to grab my paper snips. I'm going to turn this over. And I'm putting the scissors right up against the white cardstock and cutting. And I can't remember if I told you the size of this. This is basic white cardstock. It's a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece. The trick is to cut the scissors right up against that white cardstock. Okay, isn't that kind of cool for the inside? It's not just, you can do more than just stamping or putting a piece of DSP across. You can even put die cuts in it if you want to. Okay, now this is all ready to go. Open this up. And I didn't waste that little butterfly. I got to use it. There we go. So that is my shaker card with the 4x4 flip flaps using the beautiful butterflies and using the bokeh mix. Just really wanted to make another shaker card. This is actually the first shaker card I made. If you missed my live, which there is a link down below for the live that made this card, this was the shaker card I made there. And I just showed them this. So now I'm doing the reverse. I showed you how to make this one. This is the one I made in the live. So if you just look down in the video description, you can click on that. Also have it pop up at the end of the video too, and you can click on it to go see it. That this is the one I made. And this was used with our 3x3 flip flaps. So I've been making a lot of shaker cards lately. I probably won't make them for a while now. I need to start making some different cards. But I had just had so much fun making these. So if you have any questions about the thank you gifts, you can comment below, or any questions on how to make these cards. All my links are down in the video description. The thank you gift page, the blog post that'll have the sheet that you can print out with all the dimensions of the paper sizes and everything, supply list, all that fun stuff. But you can always contact me if you have any questions, either comment section or there is a contact me link below. If you have any questions, you can do that, and that'll send me an email, and I can get back with you right away. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. And you can just contact me, click that contact me link I just told you about, and I'd be happy to send you the annual catalog and the January to April mini catalog. Now, this is Sale-A-Bration. I kind of mentioned that a minute ago. For every $60 you place on an order, you get something. You can pick something out of this brochure, and then they also added some other products that you can pick. There are a couple that you have to have a $120 order before shipping and tax to pick those out, but most of them are free with the $60 order. Don't forget to use my host code so you get my thank you gifts. And I've got a link to my Sale-A-Bration page that explains everything about Sale-A-Bration, just in case you don't know about that. But if you live in the US and do not have a demonstrator of your own, just contact me, give me your mailing address, and I'll send out your first set of copies of the catalogs to you for free. Okay, well, that is it. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourself and stay warm. Bye.